want to wait. I mean, she's not here. Let's do that. Because she called me last Thursday and asked me to go in.
Hi, how you doing, Mark? I'm fine, thank you. I've got my son. Pumpkin spice latte with pieces.
Okay.
You want to do this spice latte? I don't know if Jason can hold the floor does, but once in a while they come around like that.
You do it. But if she's not here, okay, yeah, I'll just, okay, I'll figure out. I will email them and see if Callie's here. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I was going to see several people have pieces of paper read.
He just told me take off.
I never had kids. Never had so many kids.
Yeah, from usual.
Well, we're supposed to be. We might be discussing the teacher's contract.
We don't even have that. You just already wrote me.
I don't think nothing's been passed yet.
Well, Todd has to make.
Because that's the key.
He has to figure it
Should I bring it up for discussion?
No.
Let's let him bring it up.
out. Are those just me? I mean, these teachers. Couldn't be.
Schedule a work session? Yes. To discuss the policy. There you go. And you can make a motion. You just say, can we like?
Why don't you remember your pastor?
Yes, I'll schedule a work session. You can find a date. We'll just turn it
So skip it and let him bring it up. Is that what you're saying? Or should I go?
When we get to item
B, 6B.
B, just say, we're pulling this agenda, we're pulling this item from the agenda tonight.
You say the same thing every
Okay, and then when we get down to business, we can schedule a work session.
You want to put a mouse on that?
Nobody's on here.
It's easier.
That's a beautiful.
I think it's easier.
Oh, okay. Linda's not sitting and she told me to start without her.
Who didn't know what?
Linda.
She got mad and was waiting to start the meeting.
And then you can go to Google Meet, or you can go to the, log in.
I got something.
I did. Well, I get Kish to sit down and shut up.
Well, like you did last time.
Jordan just got up. Man, this is a rowdy bunch
I
tonight.
got the bang guy.
See, look,
Yeah. I didn't know how to get everybody to quiet down. I would like to call the October 26th Warwick County School Corporation School Board meeting to order. If you would join me in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
And if you would, please, during our moment of silence, remember Mark Paulson and his family. Mark's a retired teacher, Castle High School, Castle South Middle School, Castle Junior High, recently passed away after a bout with cancer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That will take us to agenda item number 4, patron concerns. There was a sign-in sheet. No one signed it. If you weren't aware, you can approach the podium at this moment. Seeing, go right ahead.
Yeah, my apologies for running late. I have to wait for my wife and my daughter to go back to gymnastics. Being involved with the.
State your name.
State your name, please. I'm
My
sorry.
name is Robert Howard. Being involved with the school, the Tecumseh and Liberty Elementary School, some of the things with the COVID protocol have concerned me about talking with teachers, parents, and even some of the students. We're sending students home that have symptoms, and then if they test negative, they can come right back to school. But a student that just is close contact with that student, regardless of a negative test, is required to be quarantined for 14 days. I've talked with several teachers that have quarantined students that have been doing virtual that are failing, classes because their teachers aren't getting the time to do the virtual instruction properly. And they're very upset about that. I've got students that are feeling they're being punished because they're being sent home all because so-and-so was sitting next to them in class, or they passed each other in the hallway, or simply as one set of students at Linville Elementary, Facebook message from a parent was sent that said, my child tested positive. These kids were with my child over the weekend. And after talking with those parents, come to find out, they weren't anywhere closer to us than we are to Burger King, and also them being a false positive test. This is really starting to have a major effect on our students and on our staff in the schools, because the students aren't getting the instruction they need because the teachers don't have time to sit there and teach a room full of students, then turn around and try to actually do virtual instruction. You think about it, 35 minutes to do, the in-person student, and then you're left with 10 minutes to do a virtual student. How are they able to actually meet the standards, meet the instructional abilities that they need for those students? Because a lot of them, they may be low functioning to where they need more time. Someone like my son. And this is a concern. It's also affecting a lot of the athletic programs around. And I know that's kind of a side note, but whenever you're getting ready for a tournament game and someone comes to you and says, get off the property, you've been in close contact, and it's 20 minutes, an hour and a half before the game starts. And the team has to scramble at the very last minute to try to come up with something to do. It really puts everybody in a very, very, very difficult position. Not to mention now, even if that student test is negative, they're out for 2 weeks.
Well, Mr. Howard, the whole situation is difficult, okay? I don't think anyone's sitting here trying to pretend this is a normal year or everything's going to be worked out. As far as the protocols, those protocols are handed down by the CDC, the Indiana State Department of Health, the local health department, all right? Okay. So those are things we're going to follow. I don't sit here and pretend to be an expert in any of that.
This to me, and this is coming from my experience at work. We had an employee that tested positive. They went through close contact. And based on what Warren County CDC told us, as soon as those that were in close contact were tested negative, had their test done and they came back negative, they could come back to work. And we followed those protocols, and as soon as their test came back in the negative, they were back to work. So why isn't the school corporation following those guidelines that all the employers are following as well?
Well, we talk with Mr. Franz on a weekly basis. So I can't comment on what you're talking about because I don't know anything about that. And I'm just telling you, we are going to follow the CDC guidelines, State Department of Health, and our local health department. So, okay. And there is possible. If there's a false positive, and they can go back and they're tested, and the days lapse, whatever it is. We're not trying to keep kids out of school no more than we have to. But you have to understand, we also have 9,800 other kids. We got 1,200 staff. So we're going to err on the side of caution. Sure. If someone may be contagious, then we are going to quarantine them. We have quarantined a lot of students. Not every one of those quarantined students have come down with the virus, thankfully. But it's just what we have to do if we're going to continue to have our schools open. And as I said before, we've been very fortunate. Very fortunate. We've not had a huge outbreak in any of our schools. Yes, we've had cases. We've had cases here, we've had cases there. But our plan is working. So we're going to adhere to that. And if that causes some hardship sometimes, and some kids have to be quarantined after missing a ball game, or they have to spend 2 weeks live streaming, then that's simply the price we're going to have to pay until we get this pandemic under control.
How can we address the issue of students not getting enough instruction where they can even pass their classes because the teachers don't have it. And one teacher I talked to was told that they were going to be given this time, and then Friday he back to them and said, "No, you're not getting this time."
Well, again, I don't know what you're talking about. We are having conversations with the Warren County Teachers Association. We've got a professional development day coming up next Tuesday, again, which is designed to improve our instructional practices for live streaming, for using technology in the classroom. We're looking at other options throughout the school year that could assist with this. I think what you're talking about is finding more time to work with the students that are virtual. So we're looking at all those options, all right? We understand that has been brought to our attention, and we're trying to find solutions.
And just reading the protocol, it says that a student that has symptoms and tests negative, they can come back. The student that's close contact, regardless of negative test, is quarantined. I'm trying to understand how those are so different when you have someone that's got symptoms of some kind of an illness that tests negative for COVID, and the student that has zero symptoms can't get a test and be treated the same way. I mean, if someone can explain that.
Well, it's all based on the Indiana Department of Health. It's all posted on their website, and they have specific guidelines. I haven't looked at employer guidelines that could be different for businesses out there. But as far as schools go, they have specific rules for staff and students to return to school. And what you said is correct. When they show symptoms, the doctor says it's not COVID, they can come back immediately. If they show symptoms and they get a negative test, they can come back immediately. But if they show symptoms, they're going to be out for 15 days and close contact for 14 days. That's Indiana State Department of Health, straight off the website.
Thank you, Mr. Gresham.
Thank you. Agenda item 5, consideration of routine items. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. The routine items this evening include the minutes of the October 12, 2020 board meeting, approve the claims, sign the docket, and approve requests for professional leave. I recommend the board approve the routine items as presented.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Agenda item 6A, consider approving the 2021 budget, capital projects, and bus replacement plans. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. The proposed 2021 budget, capital projects, and bus replacement plans have been properly advertised, and a public hearing was held at the October 12, 2020 board meeting. The proposed 2021 budget and capital projects plan and bus replacements plan were also presented and discussed in detail at a public work session on September the 14th, 2020. We've also provided copies of Resolution 2020-10, which approves the bus replacement plan for 2021 through 2025, Resolution 2020-11, which approves the capital projects plan for 2021 through 2023, and Resolution 2020-12, which approves the Education and Operations Fund appropriation reductions. This evening, I recommend the board approve the 2021 budget, capital projects plan, and bus replacement plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Agenda item 6B, we're going to pull this tonight. It'll be addressed later on in the meeting. Item 6C, review and discussion of pre-ratification for the proposed 2020-2021 contract settlement. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. State statute requires a review and discussion of the proposed contract settlement before ratification. Mr. Armstrong will review the proposed contract settlement and answer any questions. There will be no board action taken this evening. The tentative agreement will be posted on the corporation website as required by statute. Mr. Armstrong?
First, the budget that you just adopted was kind of a lot of material. So I can look at that here. We can afford the contract that we're going to agree to. The tentative agreement we reached was about a week and a half ago with the Teachers Association, and there were no changes to the actual language in the contract. We reviewed some things, we considered some items, decided the language we had in the contract was accurate. We did agree to a pay increase, albeit not as in the past. And some additional health insurance or we use the pay increase. It's a little complicated because we did some things. We went in the meeting, our goal, we had specific things outlined we were going to go and do. So we've got a pay increase of 1.3%, which is known as a popular differential. And that 1.3%, all teachers in this case would receive 1.3% increase. We also have what's called incremental portion of the pay raise, which is, if you're familiar with your old teacher scales, you've got a pay raise, you've got a year experience. Now that's built into any kind of statute. So we give a portion of the pay raise for those people who are not at the top schedule, who are not at the beginning of the schedule, that they also get that portion. That was 1.3%. So the people between new teachers and top of the scale will receive 1.3 plus 1.3. So they're getting 6% increase. But when we're looking at the numbers and the criteria, we're trying to find a way to make sure that everybody with cost of health insurance increases was actually going to realize some sort of net pay increase. And to do that, we need $1,000 minimum. And so the teachers at the very bottom of the scale, the new hires, if we apply them 1.3%, obviously, we've got $1,000. So we waived the criteria on that and gave them a flat $1,000, which was equivalent to 2.5%. So the new hires got 2.5%. Top of the scale, 1.3% obviously is more than $1,000, so they were fine. One of the other things that we were trying to do this year, we recognized last year, is that the difference between our master's degree and our bachelor's degree caps has been expanding. And so we removed the cap from the bachelor's degree for 1 year only. So all the people with bachelor's lane that are top scale will receive the full 2.6%. Hence, gaining of master's slightly. So that was the salary portion of it. We also had to increase our health insurance contribution from the employer side. We increased $500 for the single client, $700 for the member spouse and member children, and $1,000 for family plans. Coupled with the pay raise, if you're on the $5,000 medical plan and you're on the family plan, the $760 increase that you're going to be coming out of your pocket is slightly offset the $1,000 increase, and you'll receive a net pay raise. We also had a 0.25% to our retirement, which we contribute to basically base contract salary. We did not do the CA schedule. We ran out of money for the budget I put in place, so the CA schedule did not receive additional numbers. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Good round.
Any questions from any of the board members?
What was the lowest pay increase?
$1,000.
That's what you did, right?
It's real optimism on the number of students that are going to return to school next year.
Okay.
Yeah. During a enrollment year, and additional staff will be employed to operate.
That's channel. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it should be.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Appreciate it. Item 6D, consider approving 2020-2021 ECA assignments. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. In your board packet, you'll find a list of teacher and lay coach assignments for the 2020-2021 extracurricular positions. Past practice has been to allow principals to assign individuals to extracurricular positions and have the board approve those assignments. This evening, I recommend the board approve the teacher and lay coach list of extracurricular assignments for the 2020-2021 school year as presented.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 6E, consider accepting donation to Tecumseh High School. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. In your board packet, you'll find a request from Mr. Jason Fisher, principal at Tecumseh High School, to accept a $2,122.50 cash donation from the Tecumseh Athletic Booster Club. The donation will be used to purchase a Dr. Dish shooting machine. I recommend the board accept the donation as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Agenda item 7, Mr. Gresham, consideration of personnel recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. The Human Resources Office has the following business to bring before the board tonight. Agenda item 7A, consider employment of the following support staff positions. Christina Austin, temporary counselor, social worker at Work Education Center in Tecumseh High School. Jennifer West, temporary program assistant at Logan Elementary. Kelly Dunn, 6-hour cafeteria position at Cooper Elementary. Chandra Elliott, 3.25-hour cafeteria position at John H. Castle Elementary. Amanda Williamson, 4.25-hour cafeteria position at Castle High School. Beth Scott, 3-hour cafeteria position at Castle High School. Courtney Jenkins, 3.75-hour cafeteria position at Wendell Middle School. Miriam Henninger, 3.5-hour cafeteria position at Wendell Middle School. Deborah Childress, 3.75-hour cafeteria position at Wendell Middle School. And Leah Berner, temporary program assistant at Boonville High School.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Agenda item 8, leave request. Rena Schlicker, physical education teacher at Tecumseh High School, is requesting a medical leave of absence beginning December 7th, 2020, with anticipated return date February 8th, 2021, using sick and personal days in FMLA. Kayla Andrews, special education teacher at Castle South Middle School, is requesting an unpaid personal leave of absence beginning November 2nd, 2020, with anticipated return date of January 4th, 2021. Mandy Wardwell, custodian of Wendell Middle School, is requesting an extension to her previously approved medical leave of absence began August 30th, 2020, with anticipated return date of October 13th, 2020. The new anticipated return date will be November 20th, 2020. This will be unpaid. Sarah King, English teacher at Castle High School, is requesting a maternity leave beginning April 30th, 2020, with an anticipated return date of August 9th, 2021, using sick and personal days in FMLA. Excuse me, did I say April 30th, 2020?
Yes.
I meant to say April 30th, 2021. Excuse me. Anticipated return date of August 9th, 2021, using sick and personal days in FMLA. Sarah King, English teacher at Castle High School, is requesting an unpaid personal leave of absence beginning August 9th, 2021, with an anticipated return date of August 1st, 2022. Hannah Bruder, language arts teacher at Wendell Middle School, is requesting a medical leave of absence beginning October 23rd, 2020, with an anticipated return date of November 5th, 2020, using FMLA through the Families for Coronavirus Response Act. Yvonne Fisher, cafeteria manager at Sharon Elementary School, is requesting a medical leave of absence beginning October 28th, 2020, with an anticipated return date of January 4th, 2021, using sick and personal days in FMLA. Madeline Scott, Title I teacher at Sharon Elementary, is requesting a medical leave of absence beginning October 23rd, 2020, with an anticipated return date of November 6th, 2020, using FMLA through the Families for Coronavirus Response Act. Bree Welch, special education teacher at Castle Elementary, is requesting a medical leave of absence beginning November 23rd, 2020, with an anticipated return date of December 10th, 2020, using FMLA through the Families for Coronavirus Response Act. Paula Hunt, bus driver, requesting an extension on her previously approved unpaid medical leave of absence to begin October 5th, 2020, with an anticipated return date of November 2nd, 2020. The new anticipated return date will be November 23rd, 2020. And Jessica Wigan, math teacher at Castle High School, is requesting a medical leave of absence beginning October 21st, 2020, with an anticipated return date of November 16th, 2020, using sick personal days in FMLA.
Second.
I have a motion. No, I've got a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Continue on.
Agenda item 7C, cafeteria transfers. Miji Kim, 2.5 hours at Castle High School, with 4.75 at Castle High School. Rhonda Gates, 3.75 hours at Wendell Middle School, 3.0 at Castle High School. Agenda item 7D, resignations. Lisa Dennis, 5.5 hour cafeteria employee at Newburgh Elementary, resignation effective August 15th, 2020. Lisa One-Hyman, school nurse at Castle High School in Yankee Town Elementary, resignation effective January 4th, 2021. Kristen Hayes, 3.5 hour cafeteria employee at Castle South Middle School, resignation effective November 13th, 2020. And agenda item 7E, retirements. Gina Scales, business teacher at Castle South Middle School, retirement effective January 4th, 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Gresham. That will take us to agenda item 8, reports. Mr. Snyder?
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. Want to update the board. We did have at least two groups come in and look at our boardroom here and put together a proposal for us to do a better job of broadcasting our school board meetings in the future. So we are hopeful, maybe by January or February, to have that equipment installed and up and running. So it'll also keep people at home, give them a better quality production than what we can do with laptops. And it is challenging, to say the least, but we are hopeful to have that up and running here in the coming months. So and that is all I have, Mr. President.
I appreciate it. We're looking forward to that because I'm as guilty as any of us. I forget to turn my mic on, so tonight I'm not touching it. That way it's on all the time. All right. Agenda item 9, other board business.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Speaker.
In the past, I have expressed my concern that the current committee structure might not be the best way for us to operate. I believe that if the whole board was involved and we had less committees, it would create a more fully informed board. It would give all board members the opportunity to question and provide opportunity for input into all aspects of the school corporation. And it would minimize the time required by administrative staff to provide this information and to answer questions of board members. I would like us to have another work session so that we can discuss that and get input from the administration and other board members as to whether we can do that or not.
All right.
Could we also add at that work session information about how we're addressing the stress of the teachers and how we're navigating this COVID information? Because now some middle school and high school teachers are not only doing virtual and in person. Some kids don't have internet, which I know we did the parking lot things, and I'd like to know how many people estimated are using that. But we're having now to make packets for kids who don't have internet. So now you've got virtual, you've got in person, and you have packet kids. And that's a lot of work. And I know you're working with the Teachers Association, but I'd just like for you to bring us up to date on how that's going.
Be happy to do so. Yep.
Thank you.
Do we want to try to figure out on our calendars a work session? Set one. I mean, we've got commitments tomorrow night, Thursday night, and next Monday already.
Well, Mr. President, maybe for Mr. Snyder, he might need some time to compile everything.
That's true. Need a couple weeks.
We already have a work session November 2nd, do we not? Is it the 9th?
The 9th.
It's the 9th.
Yeah, we already have one work session scheduled then.
We could do it 10.
We could.
We could increase the time on it.
Yes.
We'll look at it. We may start earlier to give us more time. Yeah. Thanks, Linda. I forgot about that one.
If we're going to discuss not having the committee meetings, do you want us to go ahead and announce our scheduled committee meetings until that's decided?
Yeah. We would still have them in November, yes. Wait a minute, Jeff. Are you finished, Mr. Baker?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. We have a Transportation and Special Education Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. on Monday the 9th at the Administration Building. We have a transportation, that is a transportation meeting, so I had it on here twice. And then the first
Personnel at 6 o'clock. But that's going to be during the time of the work session, so we're going to have to reschedule that.
We'll flop it to the second meeting, maybe.
Okay.
Our next policy and curriculum meeting is November 23rd here at 6 p.m.
And I guess I'm a little confused. I thought we moved the instruction meetings to Wednesday, but last meeting they were Tuesday. So we as a regular Wednesday.
Seems to be a question we have to approve on. I know. We did Tuesday, Wednesday.
I think the board's, I'm open. Which would work best for the administration?
Tuesday is great for me.
Okay.
We had to move it to Wednesday last month because I couldn't make it Tuesday. Not that I had to be there, but that
So
was,
Tuesday the 10th at 7:30, we will have construction.
And then following that meeting at 9 o'clock, we'll have a career pathways meeting.
Okay.
I wanted to make one comment on the work session to discuss the committees. We had some discussion in our policy committee about it, and we would like to invite the administrators to come as well, just to give their input and their thoughts on what they think about the committee meetings and just to get their ideas as well.
Central office
Yes.
administrators.
there you go. Yeah.
You can get them there, right?
Yeah. They're all shot. They're all excited.
They're all jumping with joy. All right. Anyone else got anything? Seeing none, agenda item 10, patron concerns, only on the above agenda items. These teachers are just sitting here. Okay. Well, that takes us to the next agenda item. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Excuse me, are you one of the teachers with the we stand as one?